Alright. Alright, and we are back. Hey everybody, it's been a little bit, but I'm Brian Wolf, and I'm going to be showing you a new build of Tiny Swords Tactics. I've got about 5 weeks left to the Kickstarter, but the game's coming along quite well. So with me again is Pete Soloway.
Hello.
And Pete is actually going to be helping play the new version. We're actually doing a morning recording this time, just because I wanted to mix things up a little bit. So, yeah, we're both a little bit sleepy. I just ate a bit of breakfast, but we are all good to go. So, if you've never seen any of our builds before, Tiny Swords Tactics is a new board game that I've been working on for most of this year. It's a spinoff of a card game I made last year called Tiny Swords. The way I've been describing this one to people is basically a Super Smash Brothers where your table is the actual stage. And during the game, you are controlling one of these 4 teams, either Spooky, Mermaid, Moon, or Sweet, and you are using them to push your opponent's tiles literally off of the table edge. And if you are the last team standing, you win. So today it's just going to be me and Pete playing, but this game is playable for up to 4 people, and potentially more if I get to do the expansions. So Pete, you ready?
Let's do it.
Alright, so Pete, I've reworked some of these abilities a little bit, different from possibly the last time you played. But let's kind of do the rundown just real quick. So each team in Tiny Swords Tactics has a captain that basically, whenever they show up on the field, gives special powers to the team and their teammates. So just to give a quick rundown, Spooky has the ability to kind of make their tiles pass through others and jump scare to flip other people up. Tidal Wave is the Mermaid Captain's special ability that allows them to push stuff around. Sweet has a bunch of abilities for teleporting and swapping tiles. And Moon has an ability called Lunar Phase, which gives everybody on all teams special bonuses, and then special powers only for the Moon team, depending on how she gives the upgrades. So what would you like to play today, Pete?
I'm going to try Mermaid.
Alright.
I haven't done that one.
I'm going to try Sweet. I've been interested in seeing how she's developed. So I'm going to set these over to the side. And we'll do the old-fashioned rock, paper, scissors, figure out who's going to place tiles first. So, on shoot. Ready? 1, 2, 3, shoot. 1, 2, 3, shoot. Alright, Pete will be going first. So, in Tiny Swords Tactics, all of the game is centered not just on your table, but on this tile right here, the heart of the battle. And as long as your tiles are connected to it by the end of your turn, you're safe. So tiles can be connected either by touching the sides of the heart, or by touching the sides of another tile connected to it. But if a tile becomes disconnected, like this, or even like this, you have until the end of your turn to get it back. Otherwise, it's gone for good. Thank you, Pete. Alright, so, Pete, just to go over the basic stuff. So during the game, tiles are going to be placed either face down or face up. Face-up tiles, basically, face-down tiles act as walls. Face-up tiles can move and flip back down and toss other characters around. And any tiles that are face-up can also be pushed by other characters. So you can use them to push other people literally off the table edge. But Pete will be putting down your tiles, and at the start of the game, you're allowed to put up to 2 of them face down. And we're going to take turns putting one tile back and forth until the whole game is set up. Now, tiles in Tiny Swords Tactics have 3 things to keep track of, which are the team icon in the center, a number, that's your speed, and on the right is a type. Now, the number on there just means how many spaces that they can move at a given time. So, for example, that speed that I was looking at actually has a number from 1 to 3 generally. So, for example, this character right here is a 3, which means they could go 1, 2, 3, and move through up to 3 spaces on their turn. And of course, they could also push in that direction too. Whereas this little guy can only move 1 space at a time. Now, P is choosing carefully because the other thing is the type. So you'll notice that they have a symbol that is either rock, paper, or scissors. And during the game, you're going to be able to push tiles away from you so you can stay safe and keep others basically turn them out. It's kind of a nice way to describe the way I like describing it as Super Smash Bros. Because just like in Smash Brothers, the more times you toss somebody, the further they go each time. And how far they go each time depends also on who is attacking with what type. So basically, if your character is attacking someone who they can beat in rock, paper, scissors, they get to toss them even further each time. And then I'll place this guy right here. So that's the start of the game, and because I am going to be going second, I'm going to give myself one of these. So in Tiny Swords, there are also these little tokens, either a little heart icon for a bonus token, and on the other side is a pair of swords for a toss token. So we'll be using these kind of interchangeably during the game. But when I have one of these bonus tokens placed next to my character card right here, that means that I will be able to basically get to use this to do more things on my turn. So Pete will get to go first, and Pete will get to choose basically 2 actions to take. So actions in this game, there are 3 kind of basic things you can do, which is to flip one of your tiles, move one of your tiles, or toss.
Alright, I'm gonna move 1, 2.
All right.
That's the speed of my character, so I can go that far.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to toss.
Who are you tossing with?
This guy's going to toss this guy.
Okay. And keep in mind, too, that with this game now, diagonals no longer count as safe.
Right.
So an older build of this, the game was that you could connect by corners.
Okay. I did not know about that. So I have to take that move back.
Okay.
Well, my entire setup is invalid. I haven't given myself type advantage in any matchups except for that one, and I can't use that one to do much.
Well,
I suppose I could just do the one half of my move,
Mhm.
And then I'd get to shove it to
1 space. You're using.
Oh, I don't have type advantage. Is that not the one that I did before?
Hmm?
Never mind. I'm already frustrated by this game.
All right.
That's my own fault because I didn't. I was focused on the heart, but I didn't. That caused me to be constantly leading. So every time I placed a tile, you had a chance to respond by putting down a tile that had an advantage over it.
Hmm.
So now all of my shoves, all my tosses are only worth a single space, which isn't really enough to do much damage. Not on its own.
Hmm.
All right, I'm gonna flip my captain.
Mm-hmm.
And flip back.
All right.
And because of my captain power, I have a power called Tidal Wave. When Mermaid Captain flips face up, they may immediately push themselves exactly 2 spaces in any one direction, pushing any tiles in their way. So I'm going to push this way.
All right. Nice.
And it says any tiles that includes the heart of the battle, which normally can't be moved.
Right. No, and that definitely gives you an advantage. All right. And because Pete's taking 2 actions, that's the end of his turn, which means now it's my turn.
Yes.
Which is good because now you've basically taken control of the whole board.
I couldn't do immediate damage, so at least I shifted things in my favor. Maybe next turn would be more eventful.
Let's see. Let's try. Well, I don't want to do that necessarily, but
Shifted, get it.
actually, yeah, what the heck. So I'm going to use this Sweet Buzzard Senior, and I'm going to toss Mermaid Pincher Junior. So in the game, when a character tosses somebody else, you place these toss tokens on top of that character. So for example, since my type beats theirs, I get to add 2 toss tokens on top of that character. Now normally this would mean that they would travel 2 spaces. So they would go 1, 2, away from Sweet Buzzard Senior. However, because they hit a wall, one of my walls, they crash into it, which means that they take an extra token of damage, and then this tile flips up. So in this case, that is revealing my sweet captain, but I am actually going to, let's see, actually, I don't want to do that necessarily, because that could be dangerous. I'm actually going to use teleport, which allows me to place captain face up next to any of my sweet tiles, as long as there is an open space. Cool. And that'll be the end of my turn.
Okay.
Go ahead and make a pile of tokens over here.
I'm gonna do something similar.
Okay.
So first off, I'm gonna move this way.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to toss Sweet Captain with Mermaid Printer Jr.
Nice. So that'll add 2 tokens.
2, that's right, because I didn't have a wall to push against, so it doesn't double it down.
But you do get to push both of these tiles out, 2 spaces.
Right. Yeah. So, 1.
So in Tiny Swords Tactics, when tiles are pushed, as long as there are face-up tiles in their way, they get to push all of them in that direction.
Yes.
So now both of these tiles have been put in danger. In fact, actually more than half my team's been put in danger now because they're all diagonal rather than touching the sides. So I have until the end of my turn to save as many of these tiles as possible. Otherwise, I lose them. And if I lose my captain, that's the end of the game. But if I lose all 5 of my teammates, that's also the end of the game.
Fortunately, it's going to be pretty easy to undo what I just did.
But that still puts pressure on me and means that I have to waste my turn using those actions, which gives you an advantage.
Right.
So it still is a good thing. It still is a good move for you.
I guess that's good for me.
Okay. In that case, I'm probably going to do the obvious. Actually, what I could do is.
You also have, you can use one more move on that Sweet Chimera if you wanted to reposition it left or right.
Also true. The other thing I'm trying to figure out is how I can actually avoid. Because right now you've got some major tactical advantages. Like you have control of like the hearts, and you've got your characters spread out. I want to try and do some damage. So that would be nice. Because let's see. Actually, if I move this character right here.
Oh, nice.
And that'll reconnect everybody, which is good. And then if I want to, I still have this token. Now the only time that, after the game starts, the only time that anybody earns these tokens is by losing tiles. So basically, every time one of us loses a tile, we gain one of these bonus tokens. But we're only allowed to have up to 2 of them at a time. So if, say for example, I've already got 2 of these tokens and I lose another tile, I don't get any tokens from that. But with those 2, it means that I could take up to 4 actions in a single turn, which means I could do some pretty significant damage. Alright, the question now is, do I want to do anything else, or do I want to leave it be? Which I think for now, I'm going to leave it be.
Cool. Was that just a single action for your turn?
Nope. I move them back, and then I move this character.
That's right.
So that was, yep, a move and a move.
Cool, okay. That is. Okay. 1, 2, and another.
And you do it 2 more. I'm going to go ahead and grab these, because now this character is going to get tossed 4 spaces. So these are little rulers that I use in order to keep the game kind of, keep it nice and clear. This is going to be bad if I lose. Oh boy. Okay, so we're going to push those. If you want to do the honors, 4 spaces.
1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yep, and that takes out my Sweet Chimera, so that's gone. And then I get an extra token from that. And my Sweet Captain is now in danger. So if I don't... Oh god, all of my team is basically in danger by this point. Since all these are diagonal.
Oh, shit. So I should maybe reconsider my move. Because I didn't consider that I would be disconnected in that way, which means I would lose 3 different tokens. However, this Brian's captain only has a speed of 2, but he has 2 tokens to get it back. So and he will survive this round, but it'll skip us kind of to the end of the game.
It will be a very quick game.
You know what? I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, so all 3 of those tiles are going to get taken off.
And I get 2 tokens because I can only have 2 at a time.
Right. I'm going to go ahead and
In
put this
exchange
down
for
here
these.
so we know how far away those characters are.
And Brian gets no tokens because you already had 2.
Well, I don't lose any tiles yet.
Not until the end of your turn, that's right.
Right. Yep.
So you can use those 2 tokens, lose some guys, and then get those 2 tokens back if you want.
Right. So, I gotta do some fancy stuff. Now, the good thing is, Sweet Captain Net still has that teleport ability, which is still...
Oh, I forgot about that.
Right.
So it's an unlimited amount of space?
As long as there is a open space near a face-up sweet tile.
Okay. Well, I just lost the game.
Not necessarily. I mean, I'm still, like... You still... well, you still have 3 characters, so, like, I still have to, like, take out one of your tiles.
Yeah, but, well, for one thing I forgot is that you have an entire round to save these 2.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I remembered that for the captain, but not for those. And I definitely forgot your captain power, which means you only need a single action to get your captain all the way back into the battle, and then another one to move so that the entire chunk is connected to the main chunk. So there you go.
So there's 1 and 2.
And now you have every bit of advantage that I have, plus you have 2 extra tiles.
Tokens. Or... Wait, do you mean tiles too, or...?
No, I said tiles.
Oh, okay.
Tiles. We both have 2 tokens.
Okay. I do have people, like, confuse the terms. Like, they'll say tiles and they mean tokens and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
Which is interesting. But yeah, so...
Both T words.
Yeah, very true.
Made out of cardboard.
Yep, also true. So let's see here. That's a bummer though, because Chimera was like my best character against you because it was scissors and could move 3 spaces, which even my captain can't do. It still sucks because like most of my characters are either the same type as you or have a disadvantage against you. So I am actually... Yeah, so let's see here. I think probably the smartest thing for me to do right now is actually... Oh, actually, I could do some fancier stuff with this. So let's see. Okay. 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 So the other thing that my captain can do is a thing called Sweet Swap, which basically means that my teammates, not my captain, have the ability to swap places with any face-up tile up to their speed away. So for example, this character right here could swap with a tile up to 2 spaces away, if it's face-up. So in this case, I'm going to move this character... Actually, I'm going to wait. So I'm going to do this. So I'm going to swap the captains. Or, sorry, did I say... Actually, did I make that non-captain? I should probably make that non-captain just because that's a little powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think it was when it was just based otherwise. So I'm going to leave that alone for now.
From this moment forward.
Yes, from this moment forward. That's all part of the playtesting process, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Mermaid Captain actually it's pretty funny because the test that I did on Saturday at the XO Fest, it was still up to all of that was just 1 higher. So basically during the game, like I was playing as Mermaid, so I was like just constantly just shoving the heart further and further away because I can move basically like 3 spaces and then 2 spaces because it's now based on touching sides rather than diagonal. It's a lot more devastating because it's very easy to disconnect characters that way.
And by the way, the heart is face down for these purposes, right?
Yes. Yes, but Mermaid Captain's abilities specifically specify that they can move all tiles.
Right.
So let's see.
But you can't swap.
I can't swap.
Candy
No.
Power can't swap with them.
No, not unless it was face up. Although I think I specifically say player tiles just because I want to be careful about that.
Yeah.
Because that could be an interesting strategy, but I don't think I'm allowing that with this.
Yeah.
Sweet is one of those that like kind of veers wildly between too powerful and not powerful enough. So.
Yeah, if you could swap with the heart, you just move to an unsafe place and swap with it, and then everybody dies.
God, that'd be hysterical though.
It would.
Oh god. Okay, so just trying to figure out the best. Yeah, because I have numbers, but like I am still in a bit of a pickle. So I'm actually going to flip Captain down for now, just because that's it's a little heavy right now.
Defensive move.
Yeah, gonna get rid of those, put them back in the pile. But let's see what else I can do with these characters. So I can't use any of my fancy Captain power, so I can't swap tiles, but I can just go straight up on the offensive. Where, for example, I can. So that was two actions because I. Oh yeah, that was two actions already. So this is my third action, just flipping them down, and then I will be. You know what? I'm actually going to hold off. So I'm going to spare this token for another turn.
Okay.
So that's your turn.
So you can flip a face down tile by shoving someone into it.
Yes.
By tossing someone into it specifically.
Yep.
Can you flip it by just tossing it if you're adjacent?
You'll need to toss somebody into it.
Interesting. I suppose that would change the game somewhat if you had that power.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I am flipping this tile to reveal I had another mermaid fighter.
Okay.
With scissors powers.
Alright. Alright.
Which I'm going to use against Sweet Buzzard.
Alright, so you get to put two tokens on top.
Yes, indeed.
That means that character is going to get pushed out 2 spaces. Alright, and that disconnects 2 of those tiles from my table, and unless you want to use your token, that's the end of your turn.
Do I? Yeah, I'm going to face down my captain.
Okay. Alright, so we're going into defensive. Interesting.
It's a dangerous time.
Alright, but it's my turn now. So let's see here. Okay. Seems like a little safe, but good way to go. So I'm going to flip my little Sweet Slime Jr., move him, and then spend my last token to move them back.
Nice. Okay, I'm going to use my undertow power. My face down.
You need to use your captain face up for that.
It says face down mermaid teammate. Oh,
yes.
Teammate. I've read that as mermaid captain.
Yeah, but all captain powers are only active when the captain is face up, as a general rule.
Oh. Yeah, I think that might be worth stating every time, even though it is a general.
Just have it as like a tag underneath the title character.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, just underneath each power. So.
Okay.
I don't know. It's tricky because you don't want to extend that text too much, but I would probably forget that all the time.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know why I flipped my captain then. I'm gonna have to flip it back.
Well, that means you can use Tidal Wave now.
That's true. So now I can move 2 spaces.
In any direction.
In any direction. Yeah, okay, I guess that is better. 1,
And you got rid of, well,
2.
Yep, so that actually does, like, alright.
Um,
So if you want to, you can save that last tile of yours, or you can...
wait, have I already used another action this turn?
Oh, no, sorry, you can use another action, is what
Yeah.
I mean. Sorry. So,
1, 2.
so now that character... No, that's put the rest of my team in danger. All of my tiles, every single one of them, actually. So, congratulations on that, and we're also just kind of inching closer to this edge of oblivion over here, so...
That's true. I'm putting myself eventually at risk by being closer to that.
Alright, so you want to take any other actions, or is that the end of your turn?
I could take another action. No, I won't.
Okay, cool. Alright, let's see here. He might just be toast. These here, these two here, they're both one.
One of them has 2 toss tokens on it, which makes it even less valuable.
Yeah. Well, no, I could still use it for other things, but regardless, I'm going to want my captain face up. So I'll do 1, and then I can move all of these. 1 and 2. So at least we'll be even numbered, but I don't have any other tokens, so those 2 are going to die. Unfortunately. And I get 2 tokens. Now it's just down to this.
Indeed.
Now keep in mind also, one of the other rules that I've been using is that you need to have at least 2 tiles flipped up by the end of your turn.
Okay. Oh, it is my turn, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. And 1. Oops.
Oh, shit.
1, 2, 3.
Oh. Was that... Yep, there they go. And that is game. Yep. You just took out my captain, which is the end of the game. Good job.
Well done.
Nice.
Is that the shortest one you've gotten to record?
I think so, yeah.
Well, this could be the intro video, since it's probably like, you can edit it down to 5 minutes.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, so how you feeling about this new one, the new build?
I like it. The diagonals change things a lot. I think they speed things up. They just make the calculations different, you know. So like I have to adjust my filter through which I see the board.
Yeah, well, it was kind of one of those things where I think I mentioned this on another log, but basically that was the only instance that diagonals were allowed in the game. So it was, for me, it made sense to remove that just because it removed one of the last inconsistencies in the rules.
Yeah.
Because in the game, you can't move diagonally, you can't attack diagonally, but you could place yourself diagonally, which created this like inconsistency. It made it a little. It was just like a slight bump.
It's just an extra thing you have to remember.
Right, and any extra contradictions, which did like elongate the game. But at this point, I'm actually looking for ways to shorten the game, which I think makes sense, especially with a 2-player game. I think this is definitely the shortest 2-player game that we've done so far.
The one thing we've learned is reckless mermaids are a great way to shorten the game.
Yeah, which is basically how I wanted to design the character anyway. Like, it's the mermaid is kind of one of those things where I feel like Mermaid and Spooky are good intro characters, and I wanted them to be that way since they are kind of like the 2 primary mascots of the Tiny Swords. Since Mermaid, basically their abilities are just pushing X number of spaces, so it's very easy to it's a very easy power to pick up and very easy to do very devastating things. Whereas Spooky, you basically get to like hop around and ignore some other rules. And then, Sweet and Moon are kind of the most tricky of those 2, since Sweet, you basically get to hop around the board, but you have to be very careful about your placement. I've been trying out some other ways to kind of make that, I was gonna say like I could make it more difficult, but I think Sweet and Mermaid ended up being actually pretty well matched.
It felt that way.
Which is good, since Sweet actually has a type advantage over Mermaid anyway.
Oh, cool. That
Just
helps.
Yeah, just because and well, a type advantage in so much that like every character has like the same number of like types. It's just like which character is faster, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So technically speaking, looking at the balance side, Mermaid has primary like it's Mermaid's fastest characters are paper, whereas yeah. So actually, yeah, like
So the total for each one, this is 3 on rock, 3 on paper, and 5 on scissors.
right. So it's a small detail. Like it's not like a huge difference because not as big as it used to be. But I think that's still I think that's actually a preferable thing, just because like in that case it makes it easier to the captain powers are really what distinguish it, but there are like slight advantages like even in the base game.
Ah, and this one has 5 on paper, so there's your type advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Do they all have 3, 3, and 5?
That's about the difference that I've been working with. Some of the characters, yeah, usually what I do is I either give the captain the 3 or the like that minion the 3. It depends on how powerful I feel the captain powers are, how much they depend on the captain moving around.
Right, but I'm saying in terms of distribution of type.
Yeah, the distribution is about the same is the same for all of them. It's just a question of who gets what specific type.
Yeah, cool. So they all have a specialty type in which they have a total of 5 move points.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I see, and in fact they all have a 2 and a 3 in that type.
Mm-hmm. And the way that it used to be was that it was a much more drastic curve where you only had, like, say, for example, in the original build, one of the early builds, it was like you had basically, like, you had the 3 and 2, and then you had, like, a 2 and a 2 in one type, and then 1 and 1 in one type. So there was, like, one type you were really good at, one type you were kind of good at, and then one type you were terrible at.
Mm.
And it was sort of this thing where it basically made those type matchups, like, way too drastic. Especially since those are like kind of like early game kind of stuff. So I want that to be a thing where like there is some advantage over characters, so that there is like, and it's movement rather than like power, but movement is a pretty important thing in this game. So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, like just trying to find kind of that baseline for like team balances was important for these 4 teams, since they are going to be the core of the game. And then of course, with future expansions, I could do like crazy stuff with like have one team that's like all paper, but they all have like wildly different like speeds, or like have a character like have characters that have like different types but have like 0 and then like 5, or like really drastic kind of power curves. But finding that baseline was important for this set.
Cool. Well, I gotta go, but thanks so much for playing.
Cool, and thank you for playing too, and thank you all for watching. So I hope you all are looking forward to the Tiny Swords Kickstarter. That'll be October 18th. Thank you for watching. Take care.